talking to leaders of charter schools about the whole idea of co-location in the first place. That in New York City, they have law that says if you co-locate a building, that the city or the school board is responsible for making sure that the services at that school are equitable. What we are opposed to is inequity. That's number one. Secondly, I'm not of the opinion that buildings should be made empty, right? So when I say made empty, you shouldn't throw people out of them to make them available. And I don't think anybody approves of that, right? So ultimately, if a school building is already empty, if it's an empty building, then anybody should have the right to lease it. That's what free market economy is, right? So what it means, if there's a building open, then you have the right to lease the building, to bid for the building, in an open public bid like everybody else, and get the building and put your students and teachers in that building. No one is opposed to the expansion of any of these schools. What we oppose to is the kind of arbitrary decisions that are being made by the superintendent of schools. And it's not one person that should take the credit for the things that the school board does, right? So I can't say that the CUSAC scores are high because of me. They're high because of the school board. Right? So I can't say that Central should, began to transform itself because I'm just like Superman, but the whole staff in the school are responsible for the uplift of Central High School. What I support is quality schools wherever they are. And every parent deserves to send their kid to a quality school. And we should be about improving both traditional public schools and charter schools. It's not a fight of either or, because we want to make it either or. It's and. Because we share the community, which means that we have to share the resources of this neighborhood. It's not like you and then me, I'm going to vote to shut down all the charter schools. That's ridiculous. I just told you, my family and friends attend some of these schools, so I'm going to tell them to get out of the school. That's ridiculous. Some of my best teachers have their kids in these schools. I'm going to tell them they can't send those kids to school. What I'm going to say is that we have to make sure if there's a charter school in the neighborhood, that is a top-notch charter school. If there's a public school in the neighborhood, that is a top-notch public school. I'm going to tell you what the board did vote for, though. There's an old school down there that the city owned that they said, let's close this school. Let's put the kids out of it and give it to a charter school. And they did that. And the charter school failed. But they lost their charter. And that building is still empty today. That's arbitrary things that are being done without evaluation. I'm going to tell you something else. I was in Barnes & Noble yesterday with my daughters buying books. A husband and a father from Maple Avenue community stopped me in the aisle of Barnes & Noble and said, listen, my kid went to Adelaide Sanford last year. It was closed. Now they go to Maple Avenue School. Now they're trying to close that. I'm sick of this. I want to go to school across the street in my neighborhood. I want my kid to go to that school. So choice, yes, is to be able to go to all these schools that we create. But choice is also giving the parent the opportunity to go to school across the street from their house. I have a right to say, I want my kid to go to this school right here. And as school officials and as institutions and leaders in this city, our job is not to make one school better than the other, but to make all the schools comparable to each other and make these schools work. And so, then come back to me and ask me what parents will do. If I made Maple Avenue School a strong school and I made Spark a strong school, then that is really a choice. Don't tell me I have a choice between the projects in Beverly Hills. Fix all of my schools and give me a real choice.